Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Films. I'm your host Bobby, and today we're doing the first part of a massive rankings list. A while ago, a friend asked me to rank all the superhero movies I had seen. She did not put any caveats on it. She did not specify strictly theatrically released. She did not specify DC, Marvel, Independent. She did not specify only based on comics. So, this series of videos, there will be at least 3 parts, possibly 4, depending on how long things go, is going to be that. We're going in descending order, worst to best, and for the sake of brevity, let's get to it. The very worst, absolute, very worst superhero movie I have ever seen is Catwoman, starring Halle Berry, directed by one name director, Pitoff. I'm fairly certain he used one name, so once that movie tanked, he can switch over to his other name and never have to think about that film again. It is a fucking travesty from top to bottom. The acting from everyone involved is terrible. The special effects at the time of its release, which was 2004 or 5, I forget which one, bad, and they've only gotten worse. Like, they did not age well at all because they looked terrible when it came out. The plot of what is ostensibly the first big budget female-led superhero movie revolves around evil makeup. I'm not sure which one's more insulting, but yeah, evil makeup. Nothing about this film works, and it's not even fun bad. You can't watch this and enjoy it because it's assaulting you. Such bad editing and stupid lines. Fairly recent release, but it totally deserves this spot. Josh Trank's Fantastic movie. I know it's supposed to be Fantastic Four, but for whatever reason, they decided to spell it as F-A-N-T, the number 4, S-T-I-C. That's Fantastic. That's what that is. Stupid marketing people. That's a dumb fucking name. It's a dumb way of doing that. This film could have been really interesting. Chronicle is going to be higher on this list. That's a solid film. Not flawless, but really entertaining, really energetic. And I was hoping Josh Trank's Fantastic Four movie would be something similar. Instead, what we got is the biggest dick in the world, played by Miles Teller, Reed Richards, being a giant dick, surrounded by giant dicks, and then bad action scene at the end. There's only one real action scene, by the way. There's a lot of talking, a mid kind of action scene that's not really, and then the ending, which is just fucking stupid. This has one of the worst wigs in cinema history for Kate Mara. By the time they started doing reshoots for like half the film or whatever it was, she had cut her hair and, she has other projects going on. So they put her in a wig. And the wig is so bad, it's absurd. The plot makes no sense. We jump around through time illogically. This film's a fucking mess, top to bottom. That's why. Really recent release. Came out in 2016. Had a limited theatrical release as a Fathom Events thing. And that is the animated Batman the Killing Joke. This film is so fucking bad, it's so tedious, that in 2016, a script written, I'll say in 2015, and then production time, that sort of thing. So, that was a script written for a movie to be released in 2016, animated. They had to animate and draw the gay best friend! And no, I'm not kidding. I think that's more insulting than just having it be live action, because you had to draw that stereotype in there. And then here's what they do to the character of Barbara Gordon, whose entire character arc in the original comic this is based on is getting shot. They turn into a petulant, whiny teen who just wants to fuck Batman. And I'm not joking, because they do eventually fuck. You don't make her strong or independent that way. You make her do a petulant, whiny child whom Batman's clearly taking advantage of. Plus, her whole plot before all this happens, involving a mobster named Paris or some shit like that, doesn't tie into anything. It has no bearing on anything else going on. The animation is bad. The CGI and the 2D animation do not mix. The voice acting is good, I grant that. But that's not enough to save this. Nothing could have saved this script being this insulting. It sets women's rights back by decades. It sets LGBTQ rights and issues back by decades. The fact that these people attempted to defend this film after it was screened for the fucking fans at Comic-Con, I believe it was, shows that they don't fucking get it. They don't exist in the real world. They're not interested in equality or equal rights. They just want to tell a story. The story they chose is shitty and bad. And it's insulting to people who like Batman but do care about women's issues and about representation when it comes to LGBTQ. And it's fucked up that this got a green light at all, but it's more fucked up that the assholes in charge, including fucking Bruce Timm, defended it and decried the fanboys and fangirls who said it's a miserable piece of shit. That makes them miserable pieces of shit. And they need to know that. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 isn't just a bad film. It's a fucking insulting movie. It's not just that we have Paul Giamatti in a 1-minute role yelling in a bad Russian accent for no discernible reason. It's not just that this has really bad special effects for a big budget theatrically released film starring big name people like Jamie Foxx. And it's not just that the first film, this is a sequel to, is a fucking god-awful mess. It's that this film hates its viewers. It hates that you like Spider-Man. It hates that you enjoy movies with coherent editing. It hates that you have a brain that you can think things through logically and find a solution by doing that. It hates all of that because it can't be bothered to do that kind of shit at all. Norman Osborn dies in the very beginning of the film. Not a spoiler, literally one of the first things that happens. It might be the very first thing that happens. I didn't rewatch this, so I don't totally remember. Turns out his son, Harry, might have that same genetic disease. So he talks to Peter about trying to see if Spider-Man could share some of his blood, and Spider-Man's blood might hold the cure for... I don't know why they thought that, actually. But still, given that this is Peter's oldest friend, even though he hasn't seen him recently, you're thinking, like, oh, yeah, okay. No, Peter's a fucking dick. Peter's an asshole. Peter should be shot in the fucking head for being such a douche to his friends. I don't understand these movies, like fucking Bridesmaids and stuff, that, oh, friendship, yada yada, when the core relationships are so fucked up and unrealistic and unlike any friendship in the history of fucking ever. It's like it's written by people who don't understand how humans interact. It's fucking nonsensical. So, Harry gets mad and decides to go evil because he's mad. When really, it wouldn't have made much more sense if Peter just gave him a vial of blood. One vial! That's it, just fucking took out some blood of himself without Harry being around, so he doesn't know where it came from. Gives it to him, and either it has a bad interaction or it doesn't work, and that's what drives him crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, I applied logic to your fucking film. Because the main bad guy is Electro, who decides he's obsessed with Spider-Man because Spider-Man said hi to him once. No, I'm not joking. The entire actual plot of the film centers around Electro being obsessed with Spider-Man, Spider-Man not knowing who the fuck this guy is, because Spider-Man said hi to him once. Fuck this film. Fuck you filmmakers for thinking I should like this film. I hope you're ashamed of yourself. Jump off a bridge. It pains me to have it on here. At least at this number. I love the Asylum films. I literally have an entire show dedicated to Asylum films. They're great. This is their worst movie. By large and far, their Almighty Thor sucks. The acting sucks, even for Asylum movies. The special effects are bad, even for Asylum movies. The designs of the creatures created by their CGI is boring, and stupid, and repetitive, even for Asylum films. It's a movie that doesn't try to give a realistic or interesting world like their Jack the Giant Killer does. It's a movie that doesn't try to revel in the absurdity and joy of being a movie where the fucking God of Thunder uses an Uzi. That should be awesome. Instead, it's fucking moronic. It's stupid, it's boring, and it's laughably frustrating. Because you could have a good time with this film if there was something to be engaged with. But there's not. There's nothing that's even remotely to be recommended about this film. And I own Archie vs. Sharknado. That's how bad Almighty Thor is. That's why this one is going to be one of the more controversial picks, because for some reason people liked it. If you're one of those people, I don't know how to tell you this, you're fucking wrong. You are incorrect, provably 100% not right. Now mind you, this is strictly for the theatrically released version, and if you're going to sit here and tell me that the director's cut is the version I should be reviewing, that is fucking wrong as well, because just because they release a director's cut does not mean all those reviews and all those magazines and internet websites and all that jazz are invalid for the theatrical release. They're not. There's just now something else to review. I'm of course talking about Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, aka miserably dark with a pile of stupid and a double dose of what the fuck? Jesse Eisenberg is a good actor. Jesse Eisenberg is not a good actor in this movie. His Lex Luthor is heinously acted, terribly written, nonsensical bullshit. Half this plot makes no sense. Superman doesn't use guns. Why the fuck is he being blamed for the massacre in the beginning? Makes no fucking sense. I know the director's cut fixes that. I don't care. We are talking about the theatrical version, so shut the fuck up, trolls. Why is Ben Affleck so goddamn boring as Bruce Wayne / Batman? A, he's not believable as Bruce Wayne. Nothing about his performance made Bruce Wayne engaging or relatable or interesting or even remotely making me give two shits about what was going on screen. It's a bad performance that's only hampered by the terrible dialogue and nonsensical actions of everyone involved. Batman has been doing this for so long. Why is Clark Kent investigating this, not already having fucking known who he is, given that quite literally Gotham and Metropolis are across a fucking river from each other? Don't get me started on the name thing. I don't have time for that bullshit. The worst crime in this film is, much like in Man of Steel, Henry Cavill is a good Clark Kent and a good Superman. The writing for the character isn't the best, I grant, but he makes for a very empathetic, very human, very torn Superman. The kind of Superman that's interesting. The kind of Superman that to the people who say Superman's just a Boy Scout, they should want this kind of Superman. He's not just a Boy Scout. He's internally struggling with what he should be doing, with what's right, and all that. And that's an interesting dynamic to follow. And when the movie is solely focused on him, it almost works. But we have a plot about stealing kryptonite for reasons. Superman being blamed for an explosion he clearly didn't cause, at a hearing for him being blamed for shooting people, even though he doesn't use guns. What the fuck is going on in this plot? And then randomly there's a bad CGI monster at the end. Fuck you, movie. Fuck you. It might seem weird that this next entry has come in so late, so to speak, but there was no way this movie could have been good. Coming in at 182 is Superhero Movie. From a sheer competency level, in terms of technical skills, it probably is worse than every movie that's already been named except for Catwoman. If you're strictly looking at things like shot composition and blocking and that sort of thing. But those other movies are ranked lower, higher than it because they have no reason to be that bad. Those films should have been better. Those films could have done something. There are at least interesting ideas at play in some of them that are fucking squandered. They had actors who should have known better or could have given better performances if they weren't saddled with these scripts or had better direction or whatever. Superhero Movie sucks ass. No one's denying this. Superhero Movie is lame, it's unfunny, it literally has jokes that are only from trailers of superhero films that weren't released by the time it got released, because that's the sort of movie it is. It is the epitome of every awful satire, farce, spoof film you can imagine, and it sucks ass. Of course it sucks ass. So, it's number 182. My Super Ex-Girlfriend. I can kind of get around this. That's not a terrible title. It tells you everything you need to know right there in the title. So okay, this could be a funny, ridiculous time. It is not. It's poorly acted, it's stupid, it's full of bad romantic cliches, and it doesn't try to circumvent them in any way, and that's very frustrating and very sad. Plus, it has Eddie Izzard as a bad guy. And no, I'm not saying he can't play a bad guy. I'm saying he can't play a bad guy going up against a freaking superheroine when that superheroine is played by the tall awesomeness of Uma Thurman, who granted is terrible in the film. She gives her worst performance in anything. That's a lie. Percy Jackson is worse in terms of her performance, so her second worst performance in anything. But still, she could be a good superhero. She's tall enough, she's got the legs, she's proven herself an action star in the Kill Bill films. Where did this movie go wrong? On paper, this should work. Why doesn't it? I don't know. Number 180 is The Green Hornet. Here's what I remember about the film. Christoph Waltz is a bad guy. Seth Rogen is being Seth Rogen-y. And yeah, that's it. I could not tell you the plot of this film without looking it up if you were to pay me $2 million. I cannot do it. This film has nothing interesting about it. Visually speaking, it's boring and stupid. The color scheme does not work like they were hoping. Seth Rogen's kind of an asshole, if I'm remembering right. So why do I give two shits if he gets redeemed at the end? There's a weird romantic subplot with, I want to say Cameron Diaz. I don't remember if she's in the film, so correct me if I'm wrong there. That goes nowhere, if I remember properly. And all of this is coming from one of the most imaginatively visionary directors we have seen in modern cinema, Michel Gondry. He's a fucking great director. I don't love Eternal Sunshine, but I love the look of Eternal Sunshine. And then we have Be Kind, Rewind, and all these other films that are maybe flawed, but visually so interesting and so different than anything else we've gotten. This is superhero cliche and bad action. And there's nothing memorable about it. That's why it's number 180. The Punisher should be a slam dunk for any film adaptation. Period. Its plot is simple. Frank Castle wants to kill a lot of bad people. That's literally the plot of every Punisher comic you have ever read, including when he teams up with people. So all you need for a movie adaptation to work is an actor to play him who can properly quip one-liners, who looks good doing the action and can do it believably, and a director who knows how to film action. That's it. That's all you need. It's very simple. With that being said, 2004's The Punisher, starring Thomas Jane and John Travolta, has none of that. It's not that Thomas Jane can't be a good Punisher. I hold out for the day that we get a really great Punisher film with him in it. He would be killer in that role. This film sucks any sense of joy or fun out by having such a convoluted, fucktarded plot of stupid that it does not work. The editing is bad. The action is awkward, to say the least. And the plot involves a mental mind game being played by Frank Castle on John Travolta's character, even though you don't give two shits. You just want to see him kill bad guys. He's the fucking Punisher. That's it. Then there's a scene where gay Russian Waldo is fighting the Punisher, Thomas Jane's Punisher, and we're cutting that with Jane's neighbors, who's, I think, Rebecca Romaine plays a prostitute, and then two drug dealers or some fucking shit who are, they're meant to be comic relief, but they're not fucking funny. Remember that. They are not funny. Think they're funny. You have no sense of humor, and you should feel bad because you don't have a soul. Yeah, so we have an action scene intercut with these three lip syncing to opera or something. What the fuck is going on? This one was lousy. Bad acting. It's terrible one-liners. It's got bad action. Nothing about this works. Fuck this film. You liked it. Fuck you too. The worst thing that happened to Batman, since lazy writers and stupid fanboys and fangirls decided that the only true version of Batman started with Frank Miller's 1980s characterization of dark, broody, gritty interpretation of that character, has been Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne is the child of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, and he's a fucking puppet for hack writers and stupid people who just can't be bothered to think of actual plots or characterizations, to not be bothered to move Batman or Damian or any one of the several other characters that are in these comics forward at all. Here's a typical Damian Wayne subplot once he becomes Robin. I'm Damian Wayne. I can do whatever I want. I don't need teamwork. Oh, Damian Wayne fucks up. Batman saves his ass. Batman scolds him for not being a part of the team. Rinse, repeat, ad nauseum. This includes when Damian Wayne becomes the main Robin for Teen Titans. In the world of movies, the fucking nadir, the god-awful shit cake of all this has accumulated into the straight-to-DVD animated movie Batman vs. Robin, and it's literally a petulant, ass-faced Damian Wayne being petulant and ass-faced and going, I don't need anyone else. I know everything. You goddamn stupid teenager. I will slap my dick across your face if I could. I fucking hate you so much. And a Batman being, no, you're a moron. Because Batman called the moron takes offense and decides to fight Batman. Let me make this abundantly clear to you. I don't care if your favorite version of Batman is the original where he used guns and shot people. Yes, for all you ass faces who don't know any better and are going to yell at me in the comments, no. Original Batman used a gun and shot people. The whole no guns thing, not killing thing, recent invention. So get that out of your fucking brain. That is not classic Batman. I don't care if your favorite version of Batman is the Adam West intentionally campy, funny, silly show. And yes, if you're an idiot who doesn't realize it, the Adam West show was meant to be campy and funny. It knew what it was doing. It's not just some stupid take on the character and no one got it. That is incorrect. I don't care if your favorite version is the dark, gritty Batman that Frank Miller made popular and is somehow remained popular to this day. Every version of Batman has had training. And has years of training. Damian Wayne has between 2 to 5 years of working for, knowing who his dad is, yada yada. This moron decides to fight Batman. It's a terrible plot. It's taken directly from a comic. Adapted, so there are some changes. But fuck Damian Wayne. Fuck lazy writers. Fuck dark, brooding Batman. Fuck this film for being poorly animated with lazy voice acting. Fuck everything this represents. That's why it's 178. For entry 177, I already have a 40-ish minute video on what makes this movie so god-awful. So I will not spend a lot of time discussing Suicide Squad. To sum up though, the movie literally does not have any characterizations in it at all. Everyone is in the same place from the beginning of the film to the end. Except for Killer Croc, now he gets BET. Yay, racism? This will shock people because, again, Suicide Squad, some people liked, they're wrong, but I put it lower than fucking Green Lantern. Green Lantern, starring Ryan Reynolds, from director Martin Campbell, who's made awesome films before, like Mask of Zorro, and GoldenEye, and Casino Royale, with Daniel Craig, is a better movie than Suicide Squad. If barely, because it tells a whole complete story. It has characters who go from one end to another through something. That something is stupid, poorly written, and awkward, to say the least. It's poorly acted. Ryan Reynolds is terrible in the film. He's mugging really hard. Like, he's in a broad slapstick comedy, and it does not work. Peter Sarsgaard is the bad guy. A bad guy with a giant brain. I'm not going to look up his name. I don't care. Is not intimidating. He's not interesting. Blake Lively is actually kind of okay. She's bringing energy and fun to the film. It severely lacks. But The biggest reason this film sucks, special effects. They're terrible. Absolutely some of the worst special effects in any big budget theatrically released film I have ever experienced. Yeah, that includes Catwoman. It's not as offensively bad as Catwoman, sure, but its special effects are worse. It looks, when Ryan Reynolds is flying through space in his totally CGI'd Green Lantern suit, it looks like a bad Photoshop done by a fan in a hurry as a quick mock-up. Just to kind of show what the character could look like. If that all it were, if that's all it was, if it was just a quick fan-made video showing, oh, Ryan Reynolds got cast, here's what it might look like, it wouldn't be that bad. No, this movie had hundreds of millions of dollars at its disposal, and I've legitimately seen better green screen in silent films. I have seen better integrated CGI in direct DVD action films. That's not okay. Especially when you have that much money. Not okay at all. 175 is probably a title most of you forgot even existed, which is a large reason why it's ranked so low. That movie is Elektra, starring Jennifer Garner, sort of reprising her character from the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, but not really, because you can watch this film without ever having seen that and you would lose nothing. This movie is about a dude with tattoos attacking her, I think. There's a dude with tattoos who come alive. That's all, literally what I remember from this film. And it tries to set up that Elektra has OCD, but it doesn't do anything. This is a film so lazy. It literally has a character tell Elektra she has OCD. Elektra instantly goes, no, I did when I was younger, but I don't anymore. The character insists that she does, and then it promptly forgets all about that entire conversation. It's lame, it's lazy, and above all, it's boring. There's nothing memorable going on here. There's nothing interesting, and there's no reason for it to be so fucking bad. Because it doesn't need to be. There was no reason this couldn't have been kick-ass and fun. But we got living tattoos. Literally, that's all I remember from this movie. That's why it's 175. Coming in at 174 is another recent release in X-Men Apocalypse. None of the X-Men movies break 100, just so you know. They're all well before we hit that number, because I don't like any movie in this series. This, however, takes a special cake of sheer god-awfulness. I know what you're saying. What about The Last Stand? We'll discuss it when I get to it, but that movie's better than this. This film has some of the worst acting this franchise has ever seen. Jennifer Lawrence is visibly bored out of her mind. Oscar Isaac gets lost in that makeup as Apocalypse. Literally don't remember anybody else in the movie, acting-wise at all. That's how bad it is. I know Michael Fassbender is in the movie. I know James McAvoy is in the film. I don't recall them in the film at all. I don't recall anything they said or did. That's how bored everyone is making this film. The plot makes little to no sense, and it tries to involve ancient Egyptian gods in a way, and the biblical four horsemen of the apocalypse, and it's just a big, powerful baddie whose entire plan is to talk the world to death. Badly edited, the action is stupid, it's not fun. There's nothing engaging in this series to really go home to. For those wondering, yes, Quicksilver's in it again. Yes, he's better utilized than his single fucking scene in Days of Future Past. He's still only a prop, though. He's not really a character. I like the actor, though. The actor is trying, and this sequence is a little bit better. It's the only one in the movie that I would recommend at all. It's the only really good sequence in the film. But that's not enough to save the movie overall. Hey, look at that. 173, and we're already back to a goddamn Damian Wayne story. Son of Batman. It's when Batman is first introduced to Damian Wayne and all that bullshit. Given my obvious hatred of Damian Wayne, you might be curious as to why this one is slightly higher than Batman vs. Robin. It's because it's better animated. That's the only reason. This film has stronger, more striking visuals, better ink lines. The movements of the characters are less stiff. But it's still a lazy-ass Damian Wayne story in which Damian Wayne decides he's good after a talk with his mom because she's torturing Batman, a person he's known for roughly 48 hours at this point. Lazy sacks of shit. That's not how stories or characters work. You can't just go, I guess I'm good now. With one exception, and we will discuss that when it happens. Yeah. The DCAU, the DC Animated Universe, has released several really good, really strong, in fact, some of the greatest superhero films you will ever see. This is not one of them. They have gotten very lazy. And it's not just because of Damian Wayne. It's because the overall production has gone down. You can look at it. You can watch Justice League Flashpoint Paradox and then compare it to Son of Batman, and you can just notice the quality difference. In terms of character animation, character designs, backgrounds, everything. Son of Batman is such a lesser being. It's like an afterthought. We're like, I guess we can make money. Batman's popular. And it feels that way. The whole production feels that way. And that's more insulting than anything. #172 is Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, the movie I had a lot of hope for. The first Ghost Rider movie has a lot of issues. But I think Nick Cage could be a really cool Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider character. I know he loves the character. I've seen his tattoo. I've heard him talk about it. And I don't think he's that bad in the first movie. So when I found out that Neville Dean and Taylor of Crank fame had taken over and were going to make this crazy gonzo dark Ghost Rider film co-starring Idris Elba, I was totally on board. Inexplicably, this is a worse movie than the original Ghost Rider. The plot makes less sense. The special effects are worse. The action is dull and boring, and it takes way too long to get to the action. Nothing in this film works. Idris Elba's bad in it. That's how awful this film. Idris Elba's bad in it. I should never have to say those words out loud. That should be illegal. It's not, though, because it's true. Nicolas Cage is trying. He's overacting his fucking ass off. But in this film, it feels more like desperate flailing around to make something work and stick and be engaged with for the audience. But that's how it feels. So you're not engaged. You're just laughing at him desperately overacting. And you're just bored by the rest of the plot that involves something about a kid doing something. Demons want him? I don't fucking know. It's bad. It's boring. It's not worth your time. It was not worth the time and energy of those talented people because it could and should have been so much more energetic, so much crazier. Like, really, think of the Crank films and how crazily edited they are. Think of how balls to the wall they are. They don't give a fuck. Spirit of Vengeance has none of that. This is them muted to 11. They were not allowed to show their personality at all, which begs the question, why fucking hire them then? Hey, 171! More Damian Wayne bullshit. This is the worst animated of all the direct-to-DVD DC animated superhero films I have seen. By large and far, this one's the worst animated. As the worst combination of CGI and traditional animation. It has the worst, most stiff character movements. And yeah, Damian Wayne's in it again. But the plot's actually better written than either Batman vs. Robin or Son of Batman, which is kind of nice. Doesn't mean it totally works, but still. Not much to say about it. Batman's kidnapped or something, so Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and fuck if I know who else join up, try to find him or something. It's not that memorable. The voice acting's okay, but again, it looks so bad. It will hurt your eyeballs, and that sucks. Number 170 is Mark Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man. This is a film whose idea of characterization is to have your main character not attempt to save somebody he literally can save on a rooftop at the end of the film solely for dramatic purposes, and then have that character, Peter Parker, break his promise to a dying person. Yay, likable characters? And if you think I'm joking, I am not. In the film, Captain Stacy, played by Dennis Leary, is helping Spider-Man, who he knows as Peter Parker, because everybody in this film knows it's Peter Parker. He shows his face to everyone. What the fuck? But that's a different story. Is helping Peter Parker fight the Lizard, and they're releasing an antidote to the lizard serum. He's trying to turn everybody into lizards. Releasing an antidote and spraying it all across, so it's airborne. The Lizard swipes at Captain Stacy, causing a big gaping wound right here-ish on him. Here's the thing. In order for that serum, that antidote, to get airborne, they had to switch it out in the same machine the Lizard was already using. Which means that quite early the antidote is raining down. We know for a fact, as does Peter Parker, that the Lizard serum can cure you. It will heal your wounds. It has a regenerative-like property as some lizards have. Peter Parker in this film is such a selfish dickhead. He's such a fucking cunt that he doesn't use it. He does not save this person. If he used it and it didn't work, I'd be like, alright, the gash was too big, it was too late, he had waited too long, but he doesn't even bother using it. That's not a hero, that's a fucking asshole. And the entire movie's built around this way. Like, when it came out, everyone was like, oh, he quipped so much. No, there's one scene of him quipping multiple times just so they can feature the fact that he quips more in the trailer. That's it. He never goes after Uncle Ben's killer, nor does he in the other fucking film. The reason he becomes a superhero is ignored entirely in both films. Entirely. Plus, this Peter Parker in this movie, not a nerd, not a loser. He's an outcast by choice. And he's played by Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's a good-looking dude. Not weird-looking or anything, good-looking dude. He skateboards, and he's smart. All of the things mean he should have some friends. He should not be an outcast. This movie does not explain to us why he's an outcast. So we're left to presume he just doesn't want to be around people. I don't feel bad for you, dude. That's your own fucking fault. Fuck you. You don't get my sympathy. Then, when he fucking does some awesome basketball shit in the middle of the movie after being bullied severely, and mind you, the coach is there and does nothing about it. Does he get praised and slightly punished for breaking something? No, just punished for breaking something. I don't care if you broke that. Anybody who saw those fucking basketball skills would be like, oh, okay, you broke that. You will be in some trouble, but I need you on my basketball team. And then they would court you hardcore. That's how this fucking works. God, this movie's idiotic. Anybody who gave it a good review when it originally came out is fucking wrong. They just really wanted to like it because it comes from Mark Webb, who had just done The Amazing 500 Days of Summer. It stars a really great cast. Like, fucking awesome cast list. Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, they have amazing chemistry together. Rhys Ifans, I think, plays Dr. Connor, who becomes the Lizard. It's got Dennis Leary. Great cast! If you liked it when it originally came out, you only wanted to like it. You didn't actually watch the movie and objectively view it. The movie's bad. It's incoherent. And it's about an asshole. It's a movie about an asshole. I cannot stress that enough. Appropriately enough, coming in at 169 is The Dark Knight Rises with the stupid fucking Bane voice. I don't much like Batman Begins. The Dark Knight was really a great film, but it's a terrible sequel, and I'll explain that when I get to both of those films. But nothing prepared me for the level of dumb, the level of sheer insulting stupidity that this movie throws in your face and expects you to just go with it because, oh my god, Christopher Nolan can do go wrong! Feel my nipples! Splooge! Christopher Nolan fanboys are the fucking worst. He can do wrong. He has done wrong. It's this fucking film. Aside from the stupid Bane voice, excluding that, this movie sucks ass. Batman disappears for like 5 years or whatever, as does Bruce Wayne, and no one puts it together? What the fuck? Then he just has medical knee brace, so he's all better now. Then people believe a masked guy on TV who's expressly interested in releasing criminals. Illegally at that. He's not going through the court system to prove it. He's illegally doing this. And they fucking believe him because he says he has a note. So, every time a school child has forged a note from their parents saying they're sick, which is why they missed school yesterday, even though the parents don't know they played hooky, it's believable. What the fuck? Then Batman's in a hole, and he magically gets out, and even though the fucking Gotham City version, it's attacked, all training that day still counts. We've spent 2 fucking films setting up a realistic world. Pay that shit off. The entire point of Batman Begins was that it was going to be as realistic of a Batman story as you could possibly get when you still involve a guy who dresses like a bat and beats up criminals. That's literally the basis of the film. That's what Christopher Nolan pitched to the studios to get it made. Then The Dark Knight follows through on that. It's also follows a very realistic path down what happens if that thing happens in Batman Begins, and then if becomes bigger, you can't totally control it. Where do we go from there? That's a fucking line of logic. Here, though, you're in that same goddamn universe, and you're telling me that even though a fucking terrorist attack happened at the goddamn trading building, which I'm going to call Wall Street for lack of a better thing to call it, those trades still can't. No! All trading that day would have been suspended. They would have shut down. They would have reopened where everything was at the beginning of that day and started over from fucking scratch. He could not have lost his money. Far more importantly, after he loses his money, because he gets ousted from the building for all the illegal trading that happened that day, he loses powers after like an hour. After an hour. Fuck you. You've built the realistic world over the course of 4-ish hours between your first two films, and you squander it. You fucking jack off in our faces because you know we'll like it because you're making Christopher Nolan. I say fuck you. You've insulted these people by doing this shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you for thinking we'll like this. Fuck you for having the balls. Go, I'm not gonna pander to fucking fans ever. It's why they're gonna like my movies. Something he said, I'm paraphrasing, he said that. And then fucking pander to fanboys at the end of your movie by going, oh, my real name's Robin. Wank. Fuck you. Fuck you. Then, just before the power gets shut off, Batman is chilling with Talia al Ghul, and she looks at a picture of his dead girlfriend, which is an essential part of the emotional core of The Dark Knight. And then he's like, hey, those are my parents. They're dead. That's me when I was a child. I was happy then. I'm not now. That's my dead girlfriend. You want to fuck? Yeah. Look at pictures of dead people that I once loved. Totally turns me on. What the flaming fuckface? God damn it. Fuck you. Fuck you hard. If you like this film, I can't help you. You have something incurably mentally wrong with you. And, yeah. This movie's a giant steaming pile of shit. It insults its viewers. And it insults the world that's set up in the other two films. And it's not fucking worth it. The plot is literally does not make sense. Fuck this film. 168 is another X-Men movie. I told you, they don't get very high on this list. X-Men First Class is home to some of the worst editing I have ever seen in my life. When you're using split screen, here's a fucking hint. You don't use split screen to show the same angle from the same way 3 different times. It's literally not what split screen is for. That doesn't make it stylish, that makes it stupid and pointless. And it's only there because you're trying to make it look like a comic book, even though Ang Lee's Hulk beat you to it by 10 fucking years, and yet fanboys are going crazy over this. Fuck this film. This film has bad characterization. No goddamn sense. This film has terrible special effects. Beast looks hideous in his changed form. Hideous. Not even remotely anywhere near okay. He looks fucking bad. And, the editing is so bad. And it's not just the use of split screen. It's actually bad editing. And there's January Jones, who I've never seen Mad Men, the thing she's most known for. So I'm not saying she's a bad actress, but I'm saying she's a bad actress here. She has this weird angular face, so she's not as sexy as the character is meant to be. Her acting doesn't make the character interesting or intimidating. She's bored. She's visibly, audibly bored. Every line she said. You see how passionate and angry I am right now? Imagine if I was meant to be that passionate and angry, and yet Everything I said came out at this level, like this, because I can't be bothered to act or show range or anything. That's January Jones in this film. Mind you, this isn't some bit side character. This is one of the main fucking bad guys. This movie is so bad. Plot doesn't work. The editing is quite literally some of the worst I've ever seen in a movie. And it's got really bad characterization towards bad guy. Who and how did anybody like this? I don't